Hi, and welcome to Aggie Knits. So today I'm going to be doing a mini yarn stash tour. The reason why I call it mini is not because I'm doing a small portion of my yarn stash, but because I think in comparison to some of the other yarn stash tours that I've seen, it is miniature. And I just want to say before I get into it all that I know yarn stash quantity is quite a hot topic amongst knitters and amongst knitting podcast followers and such. And I just want to say I think that this quantity suits my lifestyle. It is perfect for me. I know that it's a small amount, but it's an amount that I'm grateful for. Every single skein in here I am grateful for, and each of them makes me happy and I feel inspired when I see it. So I am a mom of one. I am a sometimes knitwear designer, mostly like maternity knitwear and things of that nature. So I don't have a lot of time on my hands. I normally am knitting test knits for other designers, and that's just kind of what I enjoy to do. So I like to have some options in my stash in case a test knit comes about that I just feel really drawn to, but don't want to purchase yarn for. Oh, I already did purchase yarn for. I know it's a little backwards there, but it works out in my head. So my yarn stash, that is pretty much the purpose that it serves. I look at it and I feel inspired. I feel happy with the selection that I have. And yeah, I'm just grateful for it. I know it's not as big as some of the other yarn yarn stash tours that you may see on YouTube, but this is very practical for my life circumstances, and I just want to be realistic with y'all. I think that mine is probably more akin to what a lot of knitters have, as opposed to like the 1,000 skein tours, which I do enjoy, and I think that if I hated on it, it might be a little bit out of jealousy, but that's another conversation. But yeah, I'm very happy with my stash, and I'm very excited to show it to you all. I know my typical video is a podcast, and this one is different. I do actually have another different type video coming out within the next probably 3 weeks. I'm going to be over dyeing some of the yarn in here with black beans. We're going to see if it works. You can follow along if you want to see that, so just subscribe below. I also have some plans to buy some bare yarn or undyed yarn, and I want to test out dyeing that. So if you're interested in any of that, just go ahead and subscribe, and my Instagram will probably also be tracking the progress of it. Now, a little disclaimer before I get into it. I know I said I'm a mom of one. That one happens to be a 7-month-old. So he is taking a nap right now. If I glance to the side, it's because my baby monitor is there. And if he cries, we're going to have to put a pause on this video because we don't cry it out in this house. Mama comes. Mama comes when baby cries. So that's what we're going to have to do. And yeah, I don't think it'll cause too much of a disruption. So I think actually my explaining it right now is probably more of a disruption than it would actually cause. So without further ado, and I have one more ado, thanks to Mom Brain. But recently in the end of March, it was my birthday. So I do have a more plump, bountiful stash than I would normally have because of all my birthday purchases. So just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. And now, without further ado, please. Oh wait, now it is ready. Ta-da! This is my yarn stash. I'm very proud of her. I love her so much. And I am very grateful for all of the reasons for which I am able to have a stash. Just want to give a brief little what's what here. These are the garments that I am wearing currently. In the bottom section that you can't see right now, I have all of my like winter fall garments that are just a little too hot. And I also have some baby knits in here. Like this one here, this one doesn't fit my Lou yet. So, oh my gosh, stop. Okay, I need to put it away before I start turning this into a FO video. I'm not going to be talking too much about the individual projects. However, if there's a yarn in my stash that is in there, I might show just to show what the drape looks like. Yeah, so I think that the way that I'm going to lay this out is that I'm going to go from my left to right, my right to left. I'm going to go from this way to that way. And I'm not going to base it off of sweater quantities, what have you, but I'm going to talk about the makeup of the yarn, the company that it's from, the price, maybe even the price that I purchased it at because I do like a good deal, and maybe what I plan on making with it. Little ASMR for you. I actually hate ASMR, so I'm going to stop that. Here I have 5 skeins of Woolberry Pride and Prejudice collection, colorway Afford to be Romantic, Berry Rambouillet DK. This yarn was a birthday purchase, and it is the most expensive yarn in my stash. I absolutely love this yarn. It is so beautiful. Well, I should say I love the color of this yarn. I have not actually worked it up into anything yet, but I do have plans for it to turn into a book club cardigan. And I think that is just going to be the absolute perfect match for it. It is going to be a lighter weight book club cardigan because the pattern does call for a worsted weight, and this is a DK, of course. But I felt as though, considering it is the Rambouillet and the twist of it is pretty plump, I think that after washing and blocking, it might just assume the qualities of a worsted yarn, but that is completely all my imagination because I do in fact know nothing about Rambouillet yarn. So please allow me to live in my delusion, and I'm just going to give a little bit of background as to why I made such an extravagant purchase. Extravagant for me. I don't want to seem like I'm shaming anyone who buys this on the reg, but this is a very special yarn for me. The Pride and Prejudice movie, book, all of that. I'm an English major, or was. I have an English degree now, but Jane Austen, she just has some of the most captivating dialogue and character development, and one such tale is Pride and Prejudice. I absolutely love this movie so much, and this honestly is one of the times when I do prefer the movie to the book. I think just maybe even just because of the sentimental value that it holds for me. But this movie, I watched it with all of my bridesmaids before my wedding. It was my bachelorette theme. I had the greatest time with all of my friends. It was just so much fun. We did that. We didn't do like bar crawling or that sort of thing, but well, there was a bar aspect to our movie watching, which just made it so much more fun. And it was also the movie that I actually had playing in the hospital delivery room when I was laboring with my son. And it's also now the movie that I watch every year on Mother's Day to commemorate the day. And also, I do, in fact, force my husband to watch it with me, and I ask him questions throughout to make sure he's paying attention. Is that bad? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that's bad. But yeah, this is the colorway Afford to be Romantic, and I think it is so beautiful. Not all of us can afford to be romantic, Lizzie. I think it's so good. This is a beautiful blush infused cream color, and I typically am not drawn to whites. As of late I have been, but I don't really wear white or cream or ivory or anything like that. But when I saw this yarn, I just could not pass it up. I really couldn't. It was also a collection that was released a day after my birthday, so I mean, like, sign much. I think it is. So I bought this. It did cost me so many thousands of pretty pennies. It cost me $169, somewhere between $160 and $169. It was 30 some odd dollars a skein plus the shipping. So yeah, I got 5 of them. It's going to be beautiful. It will be marvelous, smarvelous. So I did figure out within the 2 seconds between takes that I am going to do hand dyes first. I think it can speak for itself or herself because she's just got girl energy. But look at those. Holy cow. This yarn has like a punch to it with the dyeing. It is so beautiful, and it was dyed by my friend Liz, who I met through a fun little test knit for Helene from Fabel Knitwear. She just launched her own yarn company called Augustine Yarns. She has some wonderful backgrounds to all of her yarn colorways. She has a really fun story, actually, that she also has all on her website. And if you feel so intrigued, please go read her ethics section on her website. It is so wonderful. She really is being the change that she wants to see in the world, or in the knitting community, in the world, I suppose. And I'm very happy to be able to support her with purchasing from her first ever shop update. And I actually was also the first person to subscribe to her newsletter, which I thought was just so fun. Yeah, this is the colorway Sunday in Heaven. It is a high twist merino, I believe. 19.5 or 21.5 microns, I forget, and it basically means it's soft. So yeah, it's Sunday in Heaven, and the colorway is named after one of her favorite songs by a favorite artist. And I think she just did such a wonderful job capturing this incredible, like, poppy orange. Is that what we're feeling with this? Because I definitely am. Like, maybe a poppy orange, or I don't know. That's I think that's it. It is so beautiful. I'm planning on making a Feels Right t-shirt from Lily Kate Makes, because I've just been eyeing that for a while, and I really want something where the yarn can just speak for itself for this one. I think that will do just the trick. So that one, or the Skyline tee. So I'm really torn between a tighter fit for the Feels Right or a looser, boxier fit for the Skyline. If any of you have knit those before, please let me know, and please tell me which was your favorite. Or if you only knit one, how much do you love it? Because they're kind of pretty pennies to put out there for a pattern, in my opinion, but not for their hard work, but for the level that I will appreciate it. This cost me $69 total, including shipping and taxes. So I think it was well worth it. It looks beautiful. Look at that. Next, we have Madtosh Pashmina in the colorway Whiskey Barrel. This yarn I have used before, but in a different colorway. I'll show what it worked up to be, because I do actually have it out in here. This is my just little tank. This is a free-handed, so self-drafted pattern. I actually based it off of this top that I'm wearing right now, and I used almost all of one skein of that. For reference, I'm nursing, so bust size is constantly changing, but I would assume between a 36 and a 37-inch bust, so I was able to get a whole tank out of that. It is 360 yards per 113 grams, which is an interesting number to go with, but I'm glad they did, because that extra 13 grams got me my shirt. And it is a 75% superwash merino wool, 15% silk, and 10% cashmere. It's a beautiful color. I do plan on making something for Lou out of this. I think that maybe one of those little onesies would be absolutely precious, but that little boy is growing like a weed. He is so tall, or long. He's not standing yet, so I guess it's length, but I don't know if that would fit him anymore. Maybe we'll just go with, oh my gosh, I could make one of those little sweaters that has the bear head on it. Oh, that's gonna be cute. Okay, I have yet to decide what I'm going to turn this into. If you have any ideas for a baby knit, that would be awesome. And if I do not turn it into a baby knit, I plan on holding it double with this tin silk mohair from Sanus Garn, and I think that it would make a really nice hat, like a little winter beanie. This was gifted to me by a friend, so I don't actually know the price of this, but this one I got as like a little compensation, not gift, but my other pashmina yarn just had a bunch of ties in it. No fault of Madtosh, their manufacturer. They were switching yarn manufacturers at the time, so I guess there was an issue there, but they did send me this one for free. So, just for the sake of transparency. I think that's it about this one. Oh, the cost is typically, when I purchased the Fatal Attraction, it was $36 for me from a yarn store. But when I look on the website now, I believe it is $42 or $44, so it has gone up in price, but it's a nice little treat yarn. I wouldn't buy a sweater quantity of it solely because of the price, but it feels really nice, it's smooth, it's so shiny, and I just think it's dyed very well. So this yarn is from Bad Sheep Yarn. It is a discontinued colorway, but I feel like it was called like Iris or something. And I actually made a cardigan for my good friend Holly out of it. And I do plan on making a matching striped sweater, the same pattern as my knit sweater here for Lou, for her daughter. And they're gonna match, and it's gonna be so cute. It's gonna be precious. This bottom yarn is also Bad Sheep Yarn. I believe it's Merlot. Each of these is a 100% superwash fingering weight yarn, and I believe they were either $29 or $30 each. I got this yarn as a wedding gift from my mom, and I got this yarn as another wedding gift from my mom. Clearly there's a theme here for what I search for in gifts, and yeah, it's yarn. So for the hand-dyed yarn, I have this left, this little guy, and mohair, and then some little unicorn tails. So that's just where we're at with the progress. So here I have 2.5 skeins of Little Wolf Knits DK 420 base in the colorway Devil's Food. I'll just check that out. It is the most beautiful espresso-y purple variegation atop a really nice sort of like tea-stained beige color. It is so beautiful. I have a whole sweater knit out of this already, and that is in fact why I don't know what to do with the rest of it. I think that if I were to make something else out of this yarn, it would look too similar to that sweater that I already have. So I'm just really torn as to what to do with it. I was thinking maybe I could do some sort of cabled vest, but then I feel it probably would look too busy with the variegation. So if you guys have any ideas, I am all ears because I have, let's see, it is 274 yards per skein. I have two is 4 is 14. I have 548 yards of this plus 1/2. 548 plus 137 is 55. I don't know, but it's a big number, but not big enough to make a sweater. You feel me? So I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss for that. And I don't think that it would wear well for me as a scarf because I just the way that my face is, I look best with minimal just stuff happening directly underneath of it, which is a shame because I do love colored work yokes. And I suppose the shame is actually that I ignore that it doesn't look as good on me. So whatever. But yeah, I just don't need 2 of them. So I have no idea what to do with it. I believe that this is the standard pricing of like $29 per skein, and it's beautiful. I think it's awesome. Just take another look at that. And so perfectly captured Devil's Food. It does look like cake. It really does. And I know that if you do not knit, you'll be like, Devin, that's literally yarn, and it looks nothing like cake. But if you do knit, you know what I'm talking about. This looks like cake. This looks like a scrumptious bite of cake. Next here, I have Madeline Tosh Pebble in Pecan Hull. Now this is, oh, I kept the tag. Okay, this is 48% recycled silk, 36% fine merino, and 16% cashmere. Now, I don't know why this says that it's a 2 fine and the pashmina is a 2 fine, but to me, the pashmina is a sport and this is a light fingering. It is 224 yards per 25 grams, which honestly would put it kind of at a heavy lace weight. I don't know. But this yarn is so lovely. I actually, for full transparency, I got all of this yarn. I had 4 skeins of this and 3 skeins of this for a sponsored pattern design. I just recently designed this nursing blouse. Here, I'll put it on for you. And I just closed the test knit, I believe, by the time that I'm posting this video. But please reach out to me either way if you're interested in test knitting it, because I would just love to have as many test knitters as I can. Does not matter your experience level. Like, oh, this is so cute. Wait. This is so cute. I love it. It's exactly what I was looking for. The yarn feels like a windbreaker because the mohair is so mohair-y. It serves the purpose. And it has these really nice buttons on the side. I just think it's great overall. I love it. I'm going to be wearing it all the time as a transitional piece. Probably won't be wearing it in the thick of summer because of just the heat and its mohair, but definitely will be wearing it like winter to spring, fall, spring or summer to fall, fall to winter, etc. I think it's great. It has easy access for nursing, and then also shall go over the bump due to the crop nature. So yeah, I'm not talking about the pattern. I'm talking about the yarn. So the reason why I picked this yarn is because it is so lightweight. This entire thing for me weighs 125 grams. 125 grams. Yes, 125 grams, which is the same weight as this skein of yarn, which is the same weight as this skein of yarn. Yeah, insane. So yeah, that's why I picked these together. They're pretty expensive, not gonna lie. So I think, you know what? I don't think I will look it up and let you know. The Pebble is $30 per 25 grams, and the Silk Cloud is $36 per 25 grams. So definitely more expensive, like by a lot, but it's like a dream. Like I feel like I'm wearing a cloud, not in the realistic, like rain, ice, shrapnel sense, but in the heavenly sense. All right, lastly, for the hand-dyed yarn section, I have these lovely little minty bits here. These I call unicorn tails because that's what Madtosh calls them, and I think that's adorable. These ones were gifted to me by Liz from Augustine Yarns, and these were some of the first workups for her Holocene colorway, which is named after the Bonnie Fair song and another song that I'm not remembering right now. But she seems to be very art inspired, music inspired, things of that nature. It's so cute. And I think that I'll probably turn it into, I might knit a really cute little octopus toy. I think that would be adorable in this colorway, or just something with stripes. I don't know. And then this was gifted to me by Bad Sheep Yarn because there was something wrong with a yarn order. And Marcy was very kind and proactive and was very sweet and sent this along. It is from the Lord of the Rings collection, and it is Sam. It is 25 superwash merino nylon, 93 yards for 20 grams. So yeah, it's a fingering weight yarn. And I think that this would turn into a lovely little something for Lewis. He would look so adorable in this color. Oh my gosh, I might make him a Santa hat. Little Santa hat. Oh, no, he's not awake. A little Santa hat like that. Come on, that would be so precious. So that's what I'm thinking for this one. And this, I actually purchased. I have no idea the name of the store because it didn't come with a tag, but I purchased this from a local yarn store on my first time ever buying yarn. And it's just very pretty. It's a strange amount, strange quantity. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. And I think I might just wait until I need this for duplicate stitch on something. Like, I don't know. I think that would probably best use it. So we'll go with that for now. So now we get into the non-hand dyed, more commercial yarns. First, I just want to talk about, we'll do this. We'll do the mohair to get that out of our way. This is Knitting for Olive Aqua and Dark Moose mohair. I also got this as a gift. This was part of a test knit for the Snug hood from saskie&co, and also formerly known as the Petite Knitter. And I just have all of this extra mohair that I don't know what to do with. Maybe I could find something that's just like a solely mohair project and figure something out with that, because one second. These do actually all kind of work together. If you guys have any ideas for something that this would work for, please let me know. I would be very appreciative of that. So yeah, that's the mohair. I don't really have too much to say about it. It's mohair. If you've worked with it before, you know that it's mohair. So I'll just move on to the rest of what I have in here. We have a lot of Juniper Moon Farm, and it's all the same yarn. It's all Harriet Fine, which is the first yarn that I ever purchased, and it has a deep sentimental value for me. I ended up knitting this sweater as my second project ever. Ever. This is the Pulsey sweater by Kate Tarantieva, and I'm not going to do like a whole rundown of the pattern because I just want to show you this to explain why I love this yarn so much. So it has sentimental value to me because it was the first sweater that I ever made. It is a light fingering weight yarn. No, I did not hold it double for the pattern because I'm insane, and I did a light fingering weight yarn on size 2 needles for a broken rib sweater for my first sweater. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know. It pills quite a bit. I have had this sweater for almost 2 years now, and yeah, it pills quite a bit. I don't care about that because it's so soft. It's really one of those things that I can only forgive in certain circumstances, and this is one such circumstance. It is probably the softest yarn I've ever worked with. It is 75% baby alpaca and 25% polyamide. I adore it. This colorway is timber, and I do have this much left of it. and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. So we'll see. Let's just continue with the with the Juniper Moon Farms here. Okay. Here, I have 5 skeins of this. 5. What do I need 5 skeins for? I will tell you. I'm about to put you guys on to something incredible. There is this website called Little Knits, and they are based out of Seattle, Washington. They sell yarn at such a heavily discounted rate that it would feel almost like someone was taking something from me if I didn't buy it. I know that's a terrible, terrible way to put it, but that's just how I'm going to put it because that's what it feels like. This yarn is typically $28 to $30 dependent upon where you purchase it. And I got this for $8.70 a skein. What? Now, granted, I did have to buy 10 of them. So it did cost me $87 in total, shipping and tax included, to get 10 skeins of this yarn in the colorway Wasabi. This is not my favorite colorway, so I do plan on dyeing the last 5 skeins that I have. I'm going to try to over dye them with black beans. We'll see how that works. Follow along if you want to see that video. But I mean, come on, I couldn't say no to that. And out of that have come 2 beautiful babies. That was a disgusting way to put that, sorry. Have come 2 beautiful sweaters. This is my Pickle Chips cardigan, which is a self-drafted pattern. And the way that this yarn works up is insane. Ugh. I love it. I named it Pickle Chips because the buttons look like pickle chips. But it is so, so, so soft. It's already pilling quite a lot. Like I said, I don't care about that. It's incredible. That first sweater that I made, it is a textured stitch, and I held it single on that one. So I found that the difference between the two, the reason why I'm talking about this knit at all, is because when you hold it double, it is so soft. So soft. But when it's held single, it's a little bit scratchier. I held it double in a project for my son too, and that was a textured knit, and it is the softest thing ever. So I do know that it does have to do with holding it single versus holding it double. I also got the chance to make this out of it too. And now that I have 2 sweaters made out of the same color that I'm not crazy about, I do love it in the pattern or in the FOs that I have, but now that I have 2, I just really don't need any more. So that's why I'm going to over dye it. Then I have this yarn, which is the same yarn. I have 5 skeins of it, also purchased from Little Knits. This was purchased for, I believe, $54. So it was less of a discount for these ones, but this is the color that I really wanted anyway. Come on. Look at that. It is so pretty, and naturally, I shouldn't say naturally, but it seems fitting that it should be named Espresso. It is so beautiful. It is a purple leaning brown, almost so dark that so dark that it is almost black looking. And I have plans to hold this double as a DK and turn it into a September sweater by PetiteKnit. If you have any suggestions of a brioche type pullover, crew neck pullover, that is from a smaller designer, please let me know, because I would rather support a smaller designer, not because PetiteKnit does not deserve it, but because I am a small designer, so I understand, but if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. This yarn is typically, as I said, $28 to $30 per skein. I got it for about $11 per skein, which, I mean, yeah, it's beautiful. This was purchased for me from my parents for my birthday. And then finally, my last little cake of Juniper Moon Farm Harriet Fine. I don't remember what color or what name this colorway is, but it is so pretty. It's a lovely little pink, and I do have plans to turn this into the colorwork yoke portion of a sweater for my 2 cousins. It's going to be like little hearts all around the yoke, and I think that's just going to be so darling. We are not yet through it. We still have some work to do. Right here, it is Perennial from Kelbourne Woolens. This one cost me $28, and I did originally purchase 4 skeins in order to knit this pattern that is in testing. It is the Bella Vest by Fabel Knitwear, and I held it double in order to achieve gauge, and I was left with an extra, and like an extra and a half. This is also what I used to do the color work portion of that Baffin jumper from saskie&co. So this yarn is so squishy. It is, oh my gosh. So I had planned on using pure Gint for the pattern, but when I passed this, I couldn't help but squish it, and then I couldn't help but buy it. So that's why it turned into that. It is 60% superwash merino, 25% Sari alpaca, 15% nylon, and it runs at 497 yards per 100 grams, which is on the lighter side of a fingering weight yarn. I wouldn't quite call it a lace weight yarn, especially because this little fluff that it gives, it adds a little bit more plumpness to it. So I think it works up pretty much as a fingering. It is lovely. So next I have these 3 skeins that I recently purchased from my other local yarn store, where my husband so thoughtfully purchased for me a spinning class, and it was a gift for Mother's Day, and it was wonderful. And then because I was there, I did a little shopping. And this yarn I have plans to turn into a cabled sweater. Oh, it is the Fiber Company, I believe. There is no indication of it being as such on the tag. However, I looked it up and all of the specifications seemed almost identical to what was on their website. So I am assuming that this is the Fiber Company. It is prime alpaca, 100% alpaca, 8.3 ounces, and 623 yards. It cost me $41.50 for each of these. This gray one is 8.4 ounces and is 693 yards, so definitely lighter weight. And this one also cost me $41.50. This is a sweater quantity here for sure, and it's going to work up into the most beautiful cable knit sweater. I'm so excited. This is one of the reasons why I started knitting, is because Irish girl Devin here wanted to knit a cable knit sweater, a white cable knit sweater. And I mean, this would be perfect for it, wouldn't it? This gray yarn, I do have plans to turn it into a really warm textured cowl. I am a big cowl girl, so it's either going to be that or by, I believe it's Meepi or Mippy, the label. She has this beautiful quilt motif scarf, and I think it is just so gorgeous. It is adorable. Look it up and you'll see. Side note, I cannot believe that my son is still sleeping. This is the second time that I've had to record this video because the lighting is so much better right now, and I had my microphone turned off for the first one. So just thank you, Lou. Thank you, Lewis. Okay. The last, no, it's not the last. Oh, goodness. Okay. I have these 2 scrappy little bits extra. This is Kelbourne Woolen Scout. This one is Mulberry Heather, and this one is Lichen. And I used each of these to knit 2 different tops from Fabel Knitwear. This one is the Alley jumper that I turned into a shirt, and then this one is the Norma jean turtleneck, which I also turned into a shirt. It is 100% wool, and it is 274 yards per 100 grams. It's a DK weight, and it cost me $18 per skein. I love it. All right, now I have this. I'm going to go through this one rather quickly because it is just some drops yarn and then an extra little bit of Noro. This is Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo in the colorway Tokyo. I did end up knitting a sweater out of this, and I knit the Red Sunrise sweater from Drops. It's a free pattern and it has a really lovely textured raglan. I think it's beautiful. I thought that I would need 4 of it, so I purchased 4 from my local yarn store. I don't remember the prices. I know I got it on sale, but I only needed not even a full 3, so I'm left with this awkward amount, and I don't know what to do with it because it's a bit lumpy and bumpy, and I don't know how to use a small quantity of lumpy and bumpy. So if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know, particularly if you've used this yarn before. One of the things that I did not enjoy about this yarn is that I was constantly picking out little wood splinters from it, or fibers. I was picking out little splinters from it. And I know some people enjoy that about the yarn, but I did not. So I just took that out of it. I have a sweater quantity of Drops Lima. This is 5610. I think it had a cuter name on the website, but it's just a little too cool toned for what I was looking for at the time. So this might be something that would be nice if I held it with a warmer color mohair, or I could even just use it for a gift knit. I actually might use this. Ooh, I could knit up a zip sweater for my husband using this yarn. That might look good on him. But yeah, this is my Drops Lima. And then I have 4 skeins of this Drops Fable print. And I purchased this for simply no reason other than I liked the way it was worked up. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. This could be a very cute stuffed teddy bear or something. And my friend is pregnant with a girl, and I might knit that for her. Oh my gosh, that would be precious. Okay, yeah. And I have this extra Drops belt left over from, I'll just show you here, from this little vest that I made. I call it my princess vest because that's how it feels to me. I knit this up in 3 days, and I used a total of 3 skeins for it, so it cost me $6 because I bought it for $2 off of the Rito website. I think it's so cute. I love it. It's very simple, just a little 1 center tie, and you know, that's what it is. I'm not the biggest fan of this yarn because it is a little rough on my underarm area, and I don't know why, because, well, that would actually be why. I'm really fine with scratchier yarns and stuff, but this is just rough. You know, rough versus scratchy, huge difference in my opinion, and this is rough. Not the biggest fan of it. I don't picture myself wearing it fully on skin, especially on like sensitive areas, so I am glad that I made it a vest instead of a top like I was planning on doing, because I don't think I'd get anywhere out of that. And last from that magical little box up there is 1 skein or 1 ball, oops, 1 ball of Knitting for Olive pure silk in the colorway Dove Blue. This is my first time using this yarn. I believe it was like 8 something per skein. I bought it off of the Knitting for Olive website, and it is 250 meters per 50 grams. I think, no, I'm not going to guess because I'm going to be wrong, but I am using it to knit this gorgeous top called the Agnes Camisole from Fabel Knitwear, and this is also another test knit. So I just think this looks so lovely. It is supposed to have an I-cord little tie, an I-cord tie, and it has a pretty lace hem, picot edging, and I just think it looks delightful. It looks so romantic. All of her knits look romantic. She is so good. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now with that. And I believe that is it for the top row, but honorable mention for this insanely scented shower steamer that I put in here to ward off bugs, because I read that you could use either herbs like lavender, things like that, or very strongly scented soap. And I use my strongly scented soap, but I don't really use shower steamers all too often. So I have that in here, and it is quite fragrant. So that is now the end of my top row. Well, we made it to the final little bit, and this is just all my scrap yarn. So I'm not going to go through it all. I am going to show you more scrap yarn. I am going to show you some of the, or 2 of the really cool yarns that I have in here. These 2 are 100% alpaca, and they are from a local alpaca farm, which I think is just the coolest thing. The lady who owns the place, she actually let me tour and meet all the alpacas, and I got to meet Ginger, and I forget this one's name. I'm terrible, I know, but this one's Ginger, and it was just so sweet to meet them and to see how loved they were. It was awesome. It is from Augustine Yarns Co, also known as Stewart Heritage Farms, and I don't remember the prices, but I don't believe it was very expensive yarn wise, and I think that she also does it in a very interesting way where she sells it based off of 250 yards as opposed to 100 grams. So you'll get 250 yards of a worsted for the same price as 250 yards as a fingering, which I've never heard of before, but good way to get a quantity of worsted yarn for a much more affordable price than you might otherwise get. And yeah, last little bit, I just want to show you how I organize what I have in my little scrappy stash. So I have all the yarns written. I have my Bad Sheep yarn, Appalachian Yarn Co, Little Wolf Knits, Kelbourne Wool and Scout, Knitting for All. I have all the yarns in here. And I weighed each of them using my brother's old Espresso little scale thing. And I went online, checked their weights and yardages, and wrote out every single yardage for every single one. So I know what I'm going to, or how much I have if I can use it for a project or something. So that's how I organize all my scraps. Once again, I cannot believe that my son is still sleeping. He said, "Here, Mama, this is a gift for you." Kisses. And yeah, I'm very grateful. I have just honorable mention here. Look how cute these are. My husband got these for me when we were still dating and we were in college, and I was obsessed with crocheting. And I'll link the Etsy shop that I got them from down below. But yeah, that is what I got going on in here. And upon going through it, I do have more yarn than I thought I did. However, I am still just like very inspired when I look at it. I'm very happy with all the things that I've been able to purchase, and I promise I'm not going to ramble too much more. I'm actually going to cut off what I'm saying right now. Thank you so much for watching this video, for spending your time with me. I hope that you guys were knitting something wonderful while you were watching or listening, and I hope that my rambling was not all too much, you know, just I do what I can to record what I can. I don't always have all the time in the world or all the time that I wish I had, but I am glad to be able to put that time towards spending with you guys. Once again, I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please go like and subscribe. And if you have any ideas of what to do with some of that yarn that I have no idea what to do with, please let me know in the comments. I would very much appreciate that. And I would love to dwindle this down so I can once again fill it up. So yeah, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all have a blessed week.